Our first language is Esperanto. Developed by linguist L. Zamenhof as early as 1887, Esperanto is the most widely spoken constructed language in the world. The name derives from Doctoro Esperanto. Esperanto translates as the one who hopes. 2 million people worldwide fluently or actively speak Esperanto, including perhaps 2,000 native speakers who learned Esperanto from birth. Esperanto has a notable presence in 120 countries. Its usage is highest in Europe, East Asia, and South America. Learnu, the most popular online learning platform for Esperanto, reported 150,000 to 200,000 visitors each month in the year 2013. And guess what? Esperanto is currently the language of instruction of the International Academy of Sciences in San Marino. On 22nd February 2012, Google Translate added Esperanto as its 64th language. On 28th May 2015, the language learning platform Duolingo launched an Esperanto course for English speakers. As of 12th August 2015, over 90,000 users had signed up. Did you know? Neutral Morisnet, a previous condominium which is now in the Belgium city of Clemes, wanted to be an Esperanto state. In fact, Republic of Rose Island, which existed from 1967 to 1969, used Esperanto as its official language in 1968. Sadly, Republic of Rose Island was a short-lived micronation on a man-made island 11 kilometers off the coast of Italy. Republic of Rose Island in Esperanto is called Respubliko della Insulo della Rozoge. If you think this language was only used by small micronations and islands, you couldn't be more wrong. As surprising as it is, the Chinese government has used Esperanto since 2001 for daily news on china.org.cn. China also uses Esperanto in China Radio International and for the internet magazine El Popola Sinio. The US Army has published military phrasebooks in Esperanto to be used from the 1950s through the 1970s in war games by mock enemy forces. Can you believe that the World Esperanto Association has an official consultative relationship with the United Nations and UNESCO, which recognized Esperanto as a medium for international understanding in 1954? Now let's learn some words in Esperanto. Hello is saluton. No is ne. Yes is jes. Good morning is bonan matenon. Good evening is bonan vesperon. Good night is bonan nocton. Goodbye is gi la revido. What is your name? Kio estas via nomo? My name is Mark. Mia nomo estas Marco. How are you? Kiel vi fartas? I am well. Mi fartas bone. Okay. Guste. Thank you. Dankon. Lastly, let's talk about some famous Esperantists. Mustar Abbasi has translated the Quran into Esperanto. In fact, over 25,000 books have been written in Esperanto. The Nobel laureate Reinhard Selten, who got his prize for economics, has published a part of his work in Esperanto. In fact, who knew that someone like Ayatollah Khomeini in Iran called on Muslims to learn Esperanto and praised its use as a medium for better understanding among peoples of different religious backgrounds? Now it's time for a video. The video is a clip of the famous song Let It Go from the animated movie Frozen. Yes, it's the translated version of the song, translated in Esperanto.
Casciu ciam silente estu, viam secreton vene forgesu, faru ciam gestos bone. Sed mitias kiel liberi, vi povas esti mi mem, liberu, formasci forgesu, tio ne gravas, Jeg pensar liberas, Eligiam parolos. Es du forte kai es du libera.
Klingon was originally created to add realism to a race of fictional aliens who inhabit the world of Star Trek, an American television and movie franchise. Although Klingons themselves have never existed, the language is real. It has developed from gibberish to a usable means of communication, complete with its own vocabulary, grammar, figures of speech, and even slang and regional dialects. Today, it is spoken by humans all over the world in many contexts. Dr. Ochran's description of the language he created was published in 1985 as the Klingon Dictionary. Over 300,000 copies were sold, and while to many fans the book was merely another collectible, some realized that the vocabulary and grammar made up a usable language, and a few took it upon themselves to learn it. In 1992, Dr. Lawrence Cohen found the Klingon Language Institute, an organization that facilitates communication among Klingonists through publications, language proficiency certification, an annual conference, its website, and a sense of community. The KLI has published Klingon language editions of works including Hamlet, the Tao Te Ching, and Gilgamesh. In fact, an original opera U has been written and performed in Klingon, and a Klingon language stage play adaptation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol entertained audiences in 4 cities over 7 years. Klingon uses capital and lowercase letters a little differently from the way you're used to. Mostly, capital letters are used to help remind you that a letter sounds different in Klingon than it does in English. One has to be especially careful with the lowercase q and the uppercase q, since these represent different sounds in Klingon. The apostrophe is tricky as well, since it is an actual letter in the language. Vowels are demonstrated with the consonant B on either side of them. So the example for Klingon A will sound like someone saying B-A-B. Consonants are demonstrated at the beginning of the syllable, between the syllable, and at the end of a syllable using the vowel A. So the example for a Klingon CH, which is an alphabet, will sound like someone saying CHA, CHA, CH. You see, the sound CH at the beginning, between two vowels, and at the end. An alternative way of writing Klingon was developed by Michael Okuda, and it is known as the Okuda orthography. In order to help you get a feel for Klingon and perhaps use it a little in your everyday life to the delight and amusement of your family and friends, here are some everyday Klingon phrases. Yes is Khija, no is Hobe, hello is Nukhnek, what's happening is Khashtachnuk, good is Maj. Generally, we wouldn't teach you an insult, but this one is funny. By now you have seen how Klingons have ridges on their foreheads, right? So, Khab, Sushla, Khuch translates to, your mother has a smooth forehead. Funny for us, but it is a very powerful insult for Klingonists. It's time for another video. Gangnam Style was a video that reached 1 billion views on YouTube. So how could it not be translated in Klingon?
Open Klingon style. Klingon style. Open Klingon style.
Now we'll talk about a constructed language that a lot of you are familiar with because a lot of you watch Game of Thrones. Yes, Dothraki is the constructed language in Game of Thrones. The Dothraki language is a constructed fictional language in George R.R. Martin's fantasy novel series, A Song of Ice and Fire, and its television adaptation, Game of Thrones, where it is spoken by Dothraki, the indigenous inhabitants of the Dothraki Sea. The language was developed for the TV series by the linguist David J. Peterson based on the Dothraki words and phrases in Martin's novel. As of September 2011, the language comprised of 3,163 words, not all of which have been made public. In 2012, 146 newborn girls in the United States were named Khaleesi, the Dothraki term for the wife of a Khal or ruler, and the title adopted in the series by Daenerys Targaryen. Peterson drew inspiration from George R.R. Martin's description of the language, as well as Turkish, Russian, Estonian, and Swahili. The Dothraki language was developed under two significant constraints. First, the language had to match the uses already put down in the book. Secondly, it had to be learnable for the actors. The letters C and X never appear in Dothraki, although C appears in the digraph CH, pronounced like Czech. B and P seem to appear only in names, as in Barbo and Bono. Dothraki has four vowels: I, E, O, and A. The basic word structure in Dothraki is SVO, subject, verb, object. For example, Khal ahas arak. The Khal sharpened the arak. The Khal is the subject, sharpened is the verb, and the arak is the object. When only a subject is present, the subject precedes the verb as it does in English. For example, arak hasa, which means the arak is sharp. The arak, subject, is sharp, verb. We found the original lyrics in Dothraki for the opening theme of Game of Thrones. So yes, it's time for another video. हाँ तो बुरा ना आए तो उसकी सामने वाली फोटो बना ले कोई क्या नाम है इसका? वो तो मुझे नहीं याद। फोन देर बाद पता है क्या हुआ वो ना आउट ऑफ फोकस हो गया ये पक्का पास फॉरवर्ड करनी पड़ेगी इतनी तो लंबी तो लाइन भी नहीं शिद्दत और मेहनत से बनाने में रिस्पेक्ट ओके आई एम नॉट अ आर्टिस्ट हाँ पर टाइम पे कुछ तो ध्यान रख 2 मिनट हो गए अच्छा है ना फास्ट फॉरवर्ड बहुत लगेगा तुझे बता देना चाहिए था, मैं तो हो गया। हाँ, जैसा भी है। Can you believe that Esperanto is the working language of several non-profit or my God.
रोल नंबर और क्लास में लिखो। अरे फुल सर आ रहा है।
कोई नहीं चलेगा।